My name is Minat. I live and born in Sahrawi refugee camp, southwest of Algeria.
In today's program, we're deep in Western Sahara, on the front line of the conflict between Morocco and the Polisario liberation movement that represents the ethnic Sahrawi people for whom this land is home.
We are standing on the world's longest minefield. It is a 2,700-kilometer long sand wall or berm. The Moroccan army began to build the wall in 1981 to divide our country, the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. We call it the Wall of Shame, and it contains more than 7 million landmines. It has killed many Sahrawis and cost a lot of innocent lives. The Moroccan army are guarding this wall and keep updating it with mines. You can see even from here, divided Western Sahara to the free land where we stand now and the part that Morocco have stolen from us, the occupied territory.
3, 2, 1, fire!
That explosion was an anti-tank mine being blown up by Minatu's colleagues.
When the Spanish colonialists left in 1975, we thought that we are going to have our freedom, but Morocco and Mauritania invaded our land. We have been fighting for our independence for the last 45 years. Nobody knows that we are here. We are the most forgotten conflict in the world.
Funded by Norwegian People's Aid and the Sahrawi Mine Action Committee, Minatu and her unique team are on a mission.
We are 10 women working, and our mission is to clear Western Sahara of landmines, bombs, and mortars. You could call us the #1 ladies landmine agency. We can really be seen as breaking a lot of stereotypes around Muslims and Arabs, especially the social, cultural, and religious stereotypes of the veiled, subjugated Arab woman. I am proud of being Sahrawi.
Proud, yes, but as we will see, Minatu and the team face significant challenges. Running a landmine clearance operation in this most hostile environment, in Africa's last colony, faced with the perceived threat of Moroccan aggression, United Nations inertia, and perhaps some little skepticism within their own community. Can this band of sisters recruit and retain the next generation of female deminers? Can they balance their lives and their dreams of career and family in the face of so many obstacles and at such great personal risk?
Some people are asking, is this job more difficult for women? But this is a special job. Mine action work is good for me because it gives to me a chance, not just for myself, for my country.
28-year-old Ababa Mustafa.
Of course, it's very dangerous and very difficult job. You need more big eyes because this is the risk. This is the danger. You are hot, you are tired, you are not with your family. You need to be strong in your mind. You need to be strong in your heart, yes.
Ababa is the first woman in the unit to be appointed a team leader. 3 years ago, she was the only female deminer in the entire operation.
Yes, just me. In general, the men here in the Sahara, they are respect the women like me, but just sometimes. Sometimes, why? This is woman team leader for us. Maybe I am man more strong than her, yes. It's difficult not just in the minefield. It's difficult sometimes in the person. When you need just one lady friend to share. But anyway, for me, it's not a problem because I am coming to work, not just to take friends. I like friends, I like ladies, but the more important point is the work.
That work could save countless lives in a desert contaminated by landmines and other explosive remnants of war for which both sides are responsible.
We were dressed in white to show that we are peaceful people, and we are as Sahrawis. We don't use violence.
Activist Asriya Mohammed was 23 when she joined a peace march to the wall.
Suddenly, I hear this sound. It was just an explosion. It was loud and very quick. And suddenly we hear people screaming, and all people, they were running to one direction. And I start running, totally frightened, not just me, but all the girls with me. We are generation born in the camps. We have no idea about war or about guns.
Face to face with the Moroccan army, 4 hours drive from even the most rudimentary hospital, a young student had stepped on a landmine.
All I could see is a leg, an injured leg, and then the blood. I did not see the face of the person. I only saw the mutilated leg. We walked back and we were all in silence, shock.
TMA4, this is the more dangerous mine.
This year, the team have found 4 of these large circular landmines, about 30 centimeters in diameter, with 3 pressure plates. Made in the former Yugoslavia, the TMA4 is extremely difficult to detect.
The detector work just for metal. This mine, TMA4, just plastic. Yes, anti-tank mine. It is very heavy. Maybe it is 6.5 kilogram of TNT. Yes, too much TNT. When you have anti-tank mine explode, believe me, you are dead. Everybody's dead.
Banned under the Ottawa Treaty, anti-personnel mines are even less discriminating.
The problem is the anti-person mines, because the anti-tank mines, you need something very heavy, like camel, to detonate this mine. But only take a child to detonate anti-person mine.
At least 175,000 Sahrawi refugees live in the Polisario camps in southern Algeria, patiently waiting for the UN to arrange the referendum on self-determination for Western Sahara, which it has been trying to organize since 1966.
We are nomadic people by tradition, and now we are living in 5 refugee camps, just 3 hours journey from the Moroccan Wall of Shame.
In 1975, the International Court of Justice rejected Mauritanian and Moroccan claims of sovereignty over Western Sahara, while acknowledging historic legal ties between the entities.
Since the ceasefire in 1991, we estimate that 2,500 Sahrawi have been killed and injured by landmines. Many were children herding camels and goats.
It's the 45th anniversary of the founding of the Polisario. Celebrations and military parades take place across the camps. Despite the ceasefire, Ababa and Minatu call themselves freedom fighters, the latest in a long line of Sahrawi women involved in the struggle for independence.
My name is Fatma Mehdi. I'm the Secretary General of the National Union of the Sahrawi Women. The emancipation of the Sahrawi women, the Polisario Front, has made this as one of their priorities since 1973. The situation of war that has obliged all men to go to the front line. This is something that has intervened in defining the rules of women and men. Women had to assume the responsibility of the organization of the camps. Even they had to make bricks by their own hands and build the institutions. And we built on that platform as women.
For 25-year-old Noura Lamine, this is just her second week training to be a deminer. Working in the practice zone, she places white stones for safety, red stones for danger.
With my detector, I sweep 4 times ahead, 4 times back. And I have to pay attention. If the detector makes any sound, I have to be careful.
Noura, this is your life that is at risk.
And yours too. You are with me now. Okay.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 1 brother, 3 sisters. They are so proud of me. And my father too is a military guy. This is the only job that the Sahrawis can do for their country. And you know, it's just for the Sahara, just for us. Now you.
Oh, okay, right. I think I put the safety stone here and the danger zone there. Is that correct?
You can walk in it.
After you.
After me? No, tell me ladies first. We refuse you.
Oh,
we
no.
don't want you to work with us. You failed.
Working alongside Nora are 5 other trainees, including Badra Mohammed Abdullahi.
The conditions are really tough. Today it's 43 Celsius or 109 Fahrenheit. We're wearing 10 kilos of protective gear over our traditional dress, a bomb-proof apron that covers all the important arteries in our body, a helmet, visor and boots. And because it's also the holy month of Ramadan, we don't eat or drink on the job between sunrise and sunset. We respect our Muslim faith. And we can do anything the men can do.
Saeed, the medical officer, isn't convinced.
Of course. If you ask me, I'd prefer the women weren't here. Islam doesn't permit men and women to work side by side, especially at the Ramadan. But I've seen so many children injured by the landmines. What can you do? We need to make our land safe. Like the men, these women need to put bread to the family table. There are so few jobs. So, you know, as a community living in exile, we have to do what is necessary to survive.
Nura, you people, if you continue like this, you will do the best job for this country.
Thank you so much.
Ugandan training director Victor Lado shares none of Saeed's reservations.
Women in other countries have to do most of the domestic work, and if a man goes out, they always want their women to be at home. So here, I can say women, they are very nationalistic and they responded to the call.
Quality controlling this morning's work, the veteran of Lebanon, Somalia and Sudan believes our trainees will make even better deminers than their male counterparts.
They pay attention to details and they are always consistent and adhere to the rules and regulations. Not like us, sometimes we go and, and use some shortcuts in doing things, yeah. And punctual on reporting for work, it is just perfect. If you do QC on their working land, you'll not find a metal.
You won't find a landmine?
A landmine, yeah, you cannot find.
Badra and Nora hope to win one of just 3 permanent jobs available to the 50 female graduates who applied for the course.
Males have a lot of career progress in mine action, but unfortunately that is never guaranteed for females. Sahrawi society is very egalitarian, but these young women will still face challenges defined by their gender. Especially when they get married, they have always to make big decisions whether to continue with work or to establish their own families. That is why most of the applicants that we have now are just single females, very young.
Minatu is highly aware that none of our 6 trainees might ever see active duty.
I always believe in exceptions and I have a lot of faith in women. One of our women was working through to her 6th month of pregnancy. She took her maternity leave and now she go back to the minefield. We can fight for one exception and to beat the gender gap so that women can survive and build careers in landmine action. These exceptions are the ones who are going to open the door to many other young women.
In a society where more women than men attend university, is this generation cut from the same cloth as their mothers and grandmothers?
This family, Sahrawi, must be formed by 4 children or more. That's why a lot of the girls now get lost after graduation.
Mahfouda Rahan, Minister for Women's Promotion.
After my graduation in 1995, I had 4 children. I had a lot of sacrifice to get in the work world. In my situation, my child was with me in my office. 6 months, I go to work with my child. But now the girls are not ready for sacrifices. They don't like to bring the baby in the work. They like to take their life easy. This is the fast food generation. I think it's clear.
Jumana Hamad Salmana is the demining team's finance officer. Tucked in a bundle of soft blankets on his mother's desk, baby Shmad watches intently as mom calculates this month's payroll.
I consider myself one of the luckiest who can get such jobs. Before, I have to volunteers as an English teacher. I worked with the Ministry of Education and I volunteered with many other things. But no benefits. Which is good to volunteer, but sometimes you need also to eat.
Unemployment exceeds 70% in the camps and affects both genders. But some risks are borne only by Sahrawi women.
Most of my friends have their first babies by the age of 23. The medical conditions here in the camps are very basic. In fact, my cousin, she died due to these conditions. She lost her baby and then she got bleeding and she also passed away in the same day. Yeah, if everything goes well, you can give birth here in the camp safely. But if everything goes wrong, you have to go immediately on Algerian Air Force humanitarian flight to the capital, Algiers, 1,800 kilometers away.
Minister Rahan's concern that Sahrawi women care for children around jobs that help develop the community is understandable, says Tumana.
Since 1966, the United Nations was supposed to decide the Sahrawi's right to self-determination with a referendum. A referendum in which every child is a potential voter, crucial to the interests of the parties either side of the minefield.
Over an evening meal of camel stew, the team are highly amused when I ask whether it's true that camels cry before they die.
It's very sad for me, but yeah, anyway. I think that the old lady who told you this was joking because you are vegetarian.
With no electricity or internet out in the field, nighttime is when the oral history of the Sahrawi is passed down the generations. Women like the folk singer Shweta are the guardians of the collective memory.
It's very traumatic for me to describe the war years. From the end of 75, the Moroccan aircraft began to bomb our water wells and oases. There was the terrible napalm attack on Drega, and then a week later we were bombed in Tifariti. I can still remember the smell. The children who were killed, women carrying babies, the people fleeing. We ended up going from place to place, a mass of humanity in search of safety.
So we're just being told somebody's had an injury. I think it's an exercise, but...
This morning, the teams are doing a casualty evacuation exercise, so they know exactly what to do if anyone injured by a landmine explosion.
We have a bleeding in the left leg, so we have put the tourniquet over, and we are put that leg over the level of the heart.
Nora, can you tell us what you're doing?
I'm marking the place that we have cleared. The other girl have the detect.
So you're detecting for mines to make sure the casualty is safe?
In the area safe.
Training to deal with medical trauma is essential. An accident is only ever a footstep away in this desert, contaminated with the unexploded remnants of a 16-year war. In the 5-kilometer buffer zone that runs alongside the wall, our driver Corey is waved down frantically by Polisario soldiers.
We nearly hit a mortar. See the TNT. They thinking we are not saw this mortar.
Thank you. Corey points to the wall and the Moroccan soldiers watching us, watching them.
See?
That's it?
Yeah.
Maybe 1 kilometer away?
No, it's just 800 meters, yes. You just see the control points.
Yeah, the watchtower.
Yes, watchtower. With iron net.
Barbed wire.
And you see some just black points. There in anti-person mines. We are in buffer zone. They cannot clear this area.
This is off limits.
Yes, of course.
Baby Shmad is named in memory of his uncle, who was killed in this same area.
He was herding his camels when they walked into the 5 kilometers buffer zone. The Moroccans shot him at the left leg first. When he tried to escape, they shot the right leg. The UN soldiers refused to come and save him till they get permission from New York to get into the buffer zone. The Moroccan soldiers and the UN soldiers just watched for nearly 48 hours while Uncle Shmad bled out. He died right there.
But danger doesn't just lie in these minefields. When Tumana was 4 months pregnant with Shmad, she was detained by the Moroccan authorities while transiting Casablanca airport, en route to a budget meeting in Spain.
In the liberated territories, Sahrawi women play a vital role in our resistance.
Aminatu Haidar is known as Western Sahara's Gandhi. for her passive resistance to Moroccan rule.
And in the occupied territory, Sahrawi women have been subject to appalling oppression. I myself spent 3 years and 7 months in a Moroccan secret prison. I suffered all sorts of torture in that black jail, physical, psychological. We were incarcerated in terrible conditions, inhumane. There were tiny cells, 2 to 3 meters long, infested with insects and rats, and there were 15 of us in there. And now the Moroccans are conducting a broader form of ethnic cleansing, moving hordes of Moroccan colonists into our territory to eliminate and destroy the indigenous Sahrawi population.
Western Sahara extends across an area larger than Britain, but has a population smaller than Liverpool's. Looking out from the wall, one wonders why so much suffering is attached to the destiny of so much empty land.
Western Sahara is a rich territory. I mean, it's rich of phosphate. Phosphate is very important for the food security. Fishing, Western Sahara is one of the richest fishery water in Africa. They are trying to look for oil.
Asria Mohammed from Western Sahara Resource Watch, an NGO that holds to account international corporations that would illegally exploit Western Sahara's natural resources.
But the sad part that we, the owner of these resources, we are sitting in the refugee camps. You grow up there and you became unemployed, while you see Morocco is exporting your own resources, and you get so frustrated. We survive because of the humanitarian aid, and we hate it. We hate that we receive aid. Where does all the money go? It just goes to the Moroccan government or the Moroccan king, but nothing for the Sahrawi people.
Leaving the buffer zone and the stray bombs behind, Corrie drives the trainees back to Algeria to spend the weekend with their families, their first rest for a fortnight. The team are demob happy, and pizza is the order of the day. From a small sand brick hut in Aswad camp, 27-year-old entrepreneur Hindu Mani runs the pizzeria Sahrawi.
We opened in August 2016. Our people love pizza. But before, to get a slice, you had to cross the border into Algeria. Now we're here. Everyone can get pizza in the camps. Our bestseller, of course, it's camel pizza. I've Googled it. We're definitely the only pizzeria in the world that has camel on the menu.
There are camels walking by. Oh, lots of camels walking by. Well, es a comer.
As the ingredients for a dromedary pizza amble past the kitchen window, Hindu points out that this is more than just a restaurant.
It isn't just about profit, it's about helping people. During the day, the kids come here to study and we provide them free pizza. I employ 8 women. The men are very accepting of our business. The problem isn't that we're Muslim women working. The problem is that there simply aren't enough jobs for men or women in the camps. We need more support in order that we can build businesses like this to offer work and opportunity.
Hindu is one of the few women in the camps to own her own car. With orders pouring in, soon she's clambering into her battered Mercedes to rush freshly made camel pizzas to hungry families scattered around this maze of tents and goat pens.
Okay, I should hurry. There's lots to do. I'm going to Italy tomorrow. The Chamber of Commerce in Tuscany has invited me to attend a pizza course there. Goodbye.
Over dinner, talk turns to the international community's failure to arrange the referendum on self-determination.
United Nations, they are responsible. Since we know you're not going to help us to have a solution, we don't want to live here. And we prefer to live in our land for one day, free, than staying here for 60 or 70 years. I prefer to die in my land, fighting, than dying here in the camps. I don't want to die here. What for?
Even someone as patient as Nora's big sister, Sektu, a PhD economist, is frustrated by the UN's 52 years of inertia.
Oh, I hope comes a day that comes a great man, a great woman, a politician that looks after our case, help in finding a solution, a peaceful way, not a war way. I hope comes a day and we get our freedom.
Sektu's dream that a great politician resolve this 45-year conflict might never come true. But in April, Nelson Mandela's grandson, Chief Mandla Mandela, unexpectedly arrives in camp to mark the centenary of Madiba's birth and his military training with Algeria's FLN forces in 1962.
We will always regard Morocco as an apartheid regime, and therefore, for us, Africa will never be liberated until its last colony, Western Sahara, is liberated.
The South African MP has a message for our deminers.
Women have always been in the forefront of our struggle for liberation and were never passive and sitting in the sidelines. They should stand and be the voice of the voiceless people living under the occupied Western Sahara. You strike a woman, you strike a rock, you will indeed die.
This is BBC World. Some breaking news for you this hour. More than 100 people have died in a military plane crash in Algeria.
I've just woken up to the terrible news that a group of Sahrawi refugees are on the Algerian Air Force flight that's just gone down, and some of our deminers might be on board.
The plane was heading towards the border with Morocco. There are fears the toll would rise.
Okay, so after some frantic messaging, I'm being told that the team themselves, everybody is safe and well, but one member of the unit has lost at least 3 members of their family on board the flight. And of course, information is still coming in.
We can now confirm 30 Sahrawi are dead. Most were returning to camp after receiving medical care in Algiers.
Katri Adu is the speaker for the Sahrawi parliament.
No significance should be read into the fact that this is a military flight. This is entirely normal in a humanitarian context.
A week of mourning in the camps is scarcely over when the Moroccan Foreign Ministry alleges that Iran and Hezbollah are funneling surface-to-air missiles to the Polisario via Algiers.
We deny any link with Hezbollah, and there's simply no evidence to support the claim. This is just Moroccan propaganda to take advantage of the schism between Saudi Arabia and other countries, including Iran and the US. It's also Morocco deflecting attention from calls for democracy within its own borders, and of course, recent confirmation from the European Court of Justice that Morocco and Western Sahara are 2 separate territories.
In fact, while Morocco is not a signatory of the Ottawa Treaty banning the use of landmines, the Polisario are taking steps to disarm, destroying their own landmine stockpile, monitored by a Swiss NGO with our team in attendance.
I'm Catherine Ilzer, head of region for Geneva Corps. The Polisario Front signed a deal in 2005 in which they committed to destroy their anti-personnel stockpile. I think progress has been so slow because the Polisario Front was worried about potential restarting conflict.
Catherine oversees the cautious transfer of 2,500 landmines from dozens of straw-lined wooden crates with Russian, English and Hebrew markings to the 10-meter deep pit where they will shortly be blown up.
1, fire!
Amazing! Yeah, it's amazing. It's a great result. Everything has been destroyed. It's perfect.
So you can see this is the crater which is left by the detonation. It's very hot now. If you touch it, it can burn your hand, and yeah, you get really serious burn. So don't touch the fragments.
It's not the last detonation. The last one that will finalize the commitment that the Polisario Front has taken will take place in November 2018. At the occasion of the 7th destruction today, the Polisario Front destroyed more than 18,000 landmines, and in November, the Polisario Front should not have any more landmine stockpile.
Some good news and bad news. Nora and Badra had passed the minefield test and they are now qualified as deminers. Nora has a great potential. We offered her the role of deputy team leader, but there is a complication. She cannot take the job.
My name is Nama Muhammad Sayyid. 3 months ago, I married Nora. I'm so proud of her. She had an ambition to be a deminer, and she succeeded. We've discussed it together, and I've explained to Noura that, in my opinion, demining is a man's work. For women, it's too difficult, and I think really it would be better if she quit her job.
In the kitchen of her new home, we find Noura preparing lunch.
Yeah, I feel a little bit sad, but I know this will happen. When I get married, I will stay here. Okay, this marriage is more important for me than that job, to be honest. My daddy, he was so angry that I quit. We all know that when you get married, you cannot be separated with your husband. I can work here in the camps, but I cannot go far. The men can go, but the ladies cannot.
Yeah, you can see a large herd of camels there with the Bedouins. So before we do anything, we will send one of our staffs to go and evacuate them. And we will also explain to them in case of bang so that they will not get scared.
As Noura settles into married life, Badra starts full-time work in the field. And today, she is blowing up her first landmine.
The exploder you can see here is with Badra all the time. She will go with it to the firing point. And now she will hook it to the main charge. Then you go away.
3, 2, 1, fire! Wow!
I was so scared during that detonation, but having qualified as a deminer, I'm so happy. One day, it will be my responsibility to get married and to have a family, like all Sahrawi women. But I believe I can have a family and a career. That's because Sahrawi women are very strong. I'm like a new person. Now people in the camps, they say, there goes Badra, the deminer. I'm doing the work I always dreamed of to make my country safe, to tear down the walls that constrain our people.
This marks the end of our demolition for today, Ivan. We break and we go to the camp and we'll have some lunch.
Back at camp, baby Shmad is once again asleep on his mother's desk.
My dream is to see him in his own country, in his land, growing up there. I hope he don't live his life here. We want to go back. You belong somewhere. You have to be there. A feeling of home, feeling this is my land, this is where I can build a real house. Having grass around or having tree around, instead of saying the camp, it's a temporary place, just build with these sand bricks, it's just temporary, you know, we're going. But when we have our kids now, the kids of the refugees have their kids, it's time to go. Yeah.
In the years that lie ahead for baby Shmad, more Sahrawi will be killed by the landmines concealed in this contested desert. But what is certain as the shifting of these Sahara sands is that the women of the #1 Ladies Landmine Agency will not consider their work done until their land is free. Free of conflict and free of landmines.
The #1 Ladies Landmine Agency was produced for the BBC World Service by Chris Atkins and Ivan Broadhead.
We asked the Moroccan government to participate in this programme. Instead, they sent us a statement saying, quote, Morocco never used napalm on civilians, continuing, quote, Morocco's recovery of the Sahara territory from Spain in 1975 was a result of negotiations with the occupying colonial power in conformity with the UN Security Council resolution and Article 33 of the UN Charter. The Moroccan government goes on to state that, quote, during the war that opposed Morocco to Algeria, Moroccan armed forces never attacked anyone and simply defended their territory from Polisario guerrillas, armed, trained and harboured by neighbouring countries. During the war that opposed Morocco to Algeria, Moroccan armed forces never attacked anyone and simply defended their territory from Polisario guerrillas, armed, trained and harboured by neighbouring countries for political, ideological and economic reasons, end quote. The statement also highlights the compensation paid to Aminatu Haidar for her detention, and describes the ongoing freedom of all Moroccan citizens to protest their democratic rights as, quote, a model for North Africa, end quote. Morocco says that the kingdom supported the ANC during the struggle against apartheid and categorically rejects any notion of ethnic cleansing in its southern regions, adding that a fisheries agreement, including the Sahara region, was renewed with the EU last July. Finally, the Moroccan government states that, quote, Rabat has evidence that incriminates the Iranian government, which assisted Hezbollah in providing financial as well as logistical support to the Polisario through its embassy in Algiers, and has presented that evidence to Iran, including documentation of arms deliveries made to the rebel group, end quote.